Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look through Penguin main series 2401 up to 2600, and this is perhaps one of my all-time favourite periods of Penguin history, particularly in the 1960s, just with the books that they published and the cover designs. So there's a lot of good stuff to be having a look at today, so sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so we're starting off here with Pierre Boulle's classic Monkey Planet, which of course became Planet of the Apes. And this is an absolutely god-awful cover. And I mean, just the bits. It says the cover shows a painting of Endotti by Victor Braun in the Musée National de l'Art Moderne. I mean, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Is that a couple of eyes or something? How is that possibly anything to do with the book Monkey Planet? I really don't know, but there we are, part of Penguin science fiction, and we'll see some groovy ones in that series today. Next we got 2408, My Apprenticeships and Music Hall Sidelights by Colette. And these Colette books are quite collectible in their own way. There's a few of them now at this point, and they're all fairly sought after. The Struggles of Albert Woods, William Cooper, authors of Scenes from Provincial Life. It's an interesting jacket as well, isn't it? And you have to remember the sort of period when these were being published. This is 1966, so it's very much in the swinging 60s, and you'll see that as sort of the cover designs as we go through these couple of hundred books. Simone de Beauvoir, She Came to Stay, once again, classic sort of 60s cover. 2416. This one's cover illustration by Gianetto Coppola. Big thick on that as well. Here's a great novel by Kingsley Amis. I don't mind this one at all. The cover is just repulsive, but it is one fat Englishman. It's one of Amis's better ones. I don't mind Amis as an author, and that one's quite nice. William Haggard, The Tellman Touch, a photograph cover here. Actually, I don't think I've ever noticed that before, but look at that, the Penguin logo there. So this is obviously a crime title. So you've got the author's name in green, but also the penguin has just got like a green edge around it. I don't remember seeing that one before, so I guess only in the 60s, eh? So this is part of a series where Penguin basically got round to publishing all the Ernest Hemingway titles that they hadn't published up to this point, and they are absolutely fantastic, and they reprinted all the other ones that they had published in these editions where they've got like a bust of Hemingway and they put different props around it. So this one here, Death in the Afternoon, is his look at bullfighting. Hemingway was fascinated by bullfighting, so we see the sword there, and I guess there's tickets to the bullfight and the horns. He was at times fascinated, but also repulsed by it. There we are. So that's what this is about, Death in the Afternoon. Like it or loathe bullfighting, Hemingway himself was a fantastic writer, and I do recommend sort of trying maybe something like The Essential Ernest Hemingway if you've never tried him before. So here's another one in that same series, Green Hills of Africa. Hemingway himself became quite keen on safari, as it were. A Movable Feast, some say one of his best novels. And so these all came out at the same time. Torrents of Spring. Across the river and into the trees. Lovely little run of Hemingway, who I very much enjoy. Got him all his books now in Penguin edition. David Benedictus, You're a Big Boy Now. Now a major Seven Arts film presentation. So this is a movie tie-in. Not a film I recognise, to be honest. Still 1966, this one. Got a little name inside, dated 1967. This is great. This is Judge D, and it's Robert Van Gulik. And these are, Judge D, and these are sort of, I guess, what do they call them? They're like sealed room mysteries almost, but set in ancient China. And they're very, very good. They're very well written. There's an awful lot of them. And Penguin published about three of them. 10 Days That Shook the World, John Reed. This is 2433 in the main series. This one hasn't got any sort of lamination to the cover at all. Not sure if that's supposed to be like that or not, to be honest. The Sword Bearers, Studies in Supreme Command in the First World War. Interesting covering it with a fist holding the toy soldiers there. Cover design by Brian Hayes. Good stuff. One of the more boring titles we'll see today, and this is, I think, the last time they bothered producing these. The Penguin technology surveys, and they did science surveys as well. They just didn't really have a market for it, and there was no Penguin Science News at this point, so I guess they just decided to knock them on the head. The dog it was that died, H.R.F. Keating. There he is there. Slightly bizarre title. To the Victors, the Spoils, Colin McInnes. Another war-related title. Big thick book. J.P. Donlevy. A Singular Man. This is very, very 60s design. Let's look at that with the different coloured writing on the back there. Quite interesting, that. We must be in 1967 by now. It still says 66, surprisingly, but it feels like it should be. Should be 1967, doesn't it? It's a bit of sci-fi. Edgar Pangborn. Now, I don't think I've ever read any Edgar Pangborn science fiction. A Mirror for Observers is in the Penguin purple for sci-fi. That was their sci-fi colours at this point. Main series 2454. Facial Justice, L.P. Hartley, 2455. Imagine this is probably quite difficult to find in nice grade with its all black cover, similar to the science fiction titles. I have had a couple of this, and I think it's fantastic. The jacket to this Gunnercade. Someone got like a sort of space helmet on there, with a little label saying Gunnercade on it. Cover photograph by Ian Yeomans. I think that's quite groovy, that one, and quite a tough one, I reckon, to find. Here's a Lundayton. I suspect that might be Michael Caine on the top of the jacket there. Funeral in Berlin. This was his follow-up one to the Ypres File and Horse Underwater. There he is on the back. Very, very nice indeed. This is main series 2461. Beautiful design. Reminiscent of the hardback. They really went to town on that one. Book on Kennedy here. John F. Kennedy. Portrait of a President. Hugh Sidey. Cover design by Germani Faciti. Great design, although I wouldn't say that was one of his best. Another classic and collectible title, Nairn's London. Ian Nairn, there he is, poking out the side of the bus there. And this is his look at London. It's like a travel guide. He did one for Paris as well, which is equally sought after. This one has been reprinted fairly recently, but this original here from 1966, I believe, goes for about £20. So if you ever come across this one, grab it. My copy's got a faded spine, but I only paid about £2.50 for it, so I didn't mind that. Here's another Judge D, Haunted Monastery, Robert Van Gulik. I said these are quite collectible now, and worth picking up the Judge D books. He's due a little bit of a revival, I reckon. Donald Westlake, Killing Time, classic crime writer, very popular in America. Cover by Paul May. Good stuff. And that does remind me that I've probably not pulled out my Ed McBains from my main McBain run, which are also in this series. So don't worry, those Ed McBains, predominantly all the early Penguin ones, will be featured in a separate video anyway, so you're not missing out. 2474, Ellery Queen, Cat of Many Tails. H.E. Bates, author of The Darling Birds of May, Oh, to Be in England. Cover illustration by Pamela Pratt. Don't remember much about that one at all. Amazingly, we're still in 1966. P.G. Woodhouse, this is a TV tie-in. Stiff Upper Lip Jeeves. Cover shows Dennis Price's Jeeves in the BBC series The World of Wooster. I prefer these editions to the Woodhouses than the 50s cartoony covers, which are awful. Nothing Like the Sun, Anthony Burgess. A story of Shakespeare's love life. This is pre-Clockwork Orange. Han Kongsberger, A Walk with Love and Death. In a world at war, they turned aside to love. Great stuff. J.G. Ballard. Look at that. That's a veritable classic. The Terminal Beach, 2499. Look at that picture of the beach there, and it's highly saturated to produce that effect. Cover photograph by Enzo Ragazzini. There he is, a very young Ballard on the back there. And this one was first published still 1966. Good stuff, eh? That's nice, that. C.P. Snow. This is an author who had an awful lot published by Penguin, but is virtually, I would say, almost forgotten today, but still fairly popular on the second-hand scene. Corridors of Power. Great stuff. Anthony Powell. Valley of Bones. Another one in the Dance to the Music of Time series, which I love so much. Great series if you've not read it. A Georgette Heyer, one of her Regency titles, not crime. Then we've got a box set. It's the Penguin Mics. So I can get them all out. These do fit right here in chronological order in the Penguin series. So How to Tango, How to Scrape Skies, How to Be Inimitable, and How to Be an Alien. Very nice, all uniform editions there. Christopher Radley did all the jackets. So apparently he's the world's funniest foreigner. Well, I couldn't possibly comment. Next we've got The Penguin New Writing in the USA. This is B format. Big old book. Main series 2519. It's got some good stuff in it. William Burroughs, I spot straight away there. Jack Kerouac. Yeah, some good names in there. James Barlow, This Side of the Sky. Photograph cover again. Another P.G. Woodhouse. This is a Blandings one. Service with a Smile, featuring Lord Elmsworth and other characters from the new BBC The World of Woodhouse TV series. There he is on the back. Still a great read today. Even the very earliest books are highly enjoyable. The Last Tresilians. Don't know much about this. J.I.M. Stewart. Really nice copy of that one. This one's great. It's a real favourite of mine. The Penguin John Lennon. There he is with a JL on his chest. Done a bit like a Superman. Cover design by Alan Aldridge. This pulls together Lennon's writing and poetry, doodles and what have you. What was it? Spaniard in the Works, wasn't it? And in his own right. So the two individual Lennon books both pulled together into the one volume. Great stuff. Classic 60s title, that. Oda, John Masefield. A novel of the ultimate blasphemy. Okay. Remind me not to read that. Ellery Queen. New Adventures of Ellery Queen. Where did they dig this one up? I have to ask, you know. This one's in lovely condition, but yeah, this is old reprints from the 1930s to 1939, and they pulled them all together to make, maybe they'd just never been collected before, but I mean, by the 60s, Ellery Queen was very old hat, wasn't he? P.G. Woodhouse again, back to a cartoony cover now for Uncle Dynamite. But that was one of the 60s ones, I believe, wasn't it? Wasn't it? No, first published 1948. Maybe Penguin just hadn't got round to doing their edition of it yet. Here's another one, Summer Moonshine. Pat Williams did the jacket. Margaret Drabble. This is a good one, isn't it? The Garrick Year. I remember this as being quite scarce, you know. It took me a while to find this one. And the book is, I believe, a bit of a classic. Are we into 1960? I can't believe this is still published 1966. I was sure we were into 67 by now. Well, here's one of the most famous and infamous books ever published by Penguin. It's Massacre by French illustrator Sine. So story goes, Penguin founder Alan Lane was so horrified when he got sent his copies of this book that he went to the warehouse one night when it was all locked up, grabbed all the copies of Sine, took them back to his farm and promptly burnt the lot. So there you go. So consequently, copies of this are actually quite scarce, and generally tend to sell for about £15 to £20, depending on condition. But it's a difficult book to find, and I've only ever come across the one which I did find in the wild. That one, it wasn't too bad condition wise, but one to look out for. Wigs at Work, that looks very much like a Mel Kalman nose. Oh, yeah, that cover design by Mel Kalman. Yeah, I thought so. Very, very distinctive style of artwork, and that one's looking at lawyers. Bernard Malamud, The Magic Barrel. Okay. Bit of an oldie time cover, that one, isn't it? Hackenfeller's Ape, Bridget Brophy. Penguin Sci-Fi, Wolfbane, Frederick Poole and C.M. Kornbluth. Lovely. Love a bit of sci-fi, or SF as we should call it. Here's a Simenon, The Train. It's not a May Grey, but it's a bit of a departure from the normal Simenons in Penguin with this colour photograph on the front. Good stuff. Here's another Woodhouse, Heavy Weather, another Blandings one from featuring Lord Elmsworth and the World of Worcester TV show. Quite a few this time. Another little wedge to come here. So Galahad at Blandings, another one from the same series. Here we are, a Penguin original, The Politics of Experience and the Bird of Paradise, R.D. Laing. Cover design by Alan Aldridge again. I bet that's quite interesting, you know. Nice cover design as well. The Marsh Arabs, Thesiger. Looks like a travel one, that. Yeah. Big photograph insert in there. Culloden, John Preble. This is 2576. Beautiful copy of that one as well. I did get very lucky on some of these sort of mid to late 60s ones. This one's a Penguin Modern classic, quite an early one as well. Henry de Montherlant, Chaos and Night. Probably not one that you would have heard of, but published as a modern classic in the grey, sort of light blue livery. This is another modern classic with a black cover but the grey spine and back. Jean Genet, The Thief's Journal. And that's an Alan Aldridge designed cover as well. Evidently he was in the Penguin art department at this point. Great designer. Sci-Fi, J.G. Ballard, Wind from Nowhere. How cool is this? A beautiful copy of this one. 2591. Not sure if that's David Pelham or Aldridge did the front jacket to this one. It's a beautiful, that's a real minter, that. Very nice indeed. Mary McMinnis, The Visitors. 2592. Big, huge book. Huge novel, this one. And it's fiction. Finally, we're on to 1967. The Devil in the Hills, César Pavès. What a contrast to the last one. And the very final book in this little run is this one, Malcolm, by James Purdy. And that is, in fact, if you recognise him, the actor Angelo Muscat, who was the butler in The Prisoner, posing on this front jacket here. Good stuff. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed looking through that batch of a couple of hundred vintage Penguin paperbacks. Certainly some absolute classic stuff in there today, particularly like the John Lennon Massacre by Cine, those Ernest Hemingways and all the P.G. Woodhouses, and the J.G. Ballards as well, some good sci-fi as well. What a great run that was, and almost predominantly it was all from 1966 with a little bit at the end of 1967. Anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it the thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage paperback and predominantly Penguin content. And I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.